What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ review, and I'm here to make a plea to the Star Wars fan community. Yes, instead of embracing toxic fandom this weekend, I'm putting a call out to embrace positivity. I know. This is the internet. Positivity. What are you talking about, LQ? Positivity? Alright, so let me talk a little bit about what I would like to see from Star Wars fans this weekend. We're never going to see it, by the way. We're never going to see it. You're going to have a portion of the Star Wars fans this weekend who are going to be stomping their feet and crying about The Rise of Skywalker. And you're going to have a portion of the Star Wars fans who are stomping their feet and yelling at anybody who didn't like The Rise of Skywalker. And they'll be yelling and saying awful things to each other, calling each other names. It's going to be messy. It's going to be messy, guys. And this was inevitable. Despite the Rotten Tomatoes score, despite the audience scores, despite reviews, despite anything, J.J. Abrams was never going to satisfy everyone. It was never going to happen. Star Wars is too big. Star Wars is too big of a thing now, and he was never going to satisfy everyone. So you're inevitably... There's going to be people who don't like Rise of Skywalker. There's going to be people that love Rise of Skywalker. There'll be some people who fall in between. So, what am I talking about when I say, let's embrace positivity instead of toxicity? What am I talking about? Okay. This is not a call out to everybody to like The Rise of Skywalker. No, it's not. If you did not like The Rise of Skywalker, then you did not like it. Movies are subjective. All right? One person can love it, one person can hate it. One person can be in the middle. Movies are entirely subjective. If you did not like The Rise of Skywalker, I'm not sitting here putting out a message saying, you're not a true Star Wars fan. We'll get to that in a second. You're not a true Star Wars fan. You have to like it. No. If you hated if you loved Rise of Skywalker, and I'm seeing it tonight, by the way, and I end up hating it, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a Disney sellout. You know, you just like anything they put in front of you. No, this is subjective. Completely, 100% entirely subjective. It depends on the viewer. And there's no right or wrong answer on whether it's good or bad. It's entirely up to you. So the first thing that I'm talking about when I say let's embrace positivity is understand that everybody has their own viewpoints on whether it's good or bad. And we can respect those viewpoints. We can respect, if I like The Rise of Skywalker, but my buddy doesn't, I can respect that. I can say, hey man, that's cool. I wish that worked for you, but it didn't. And we're good. I'm good. If I end up hating it, and you end up loving it, I'm not going to say, well, you just don't understand Star Wars. Or you're not a true fan. You know, none of that. I'm going to be like, hey, man, I didn't like it. That's awesome that you did. That's awesome that you liked it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. That is the attitude that we should be having as fans. All right, so there's a couple telltale signs on whether or not somebody's a toxic fan. The first telltale sign to look out for is the end of sentence, or debate over, or period, end of conversation. All right? If somebody says The Rise of Sky, anytime they say something like that, watch out. You probably have a toxic fan on your hand. So if somebody says The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi sucked, period, end of story, toxic fan. That's what it is. It's toxic fandom. Because, let me get to, if somebody says, The Rise of Skywalker was great, period. They addressed everything, period. End of story. End of debate. Toxic fan. Alright? So, anytime you have somebody who says, who just wants to cut off the debate, who wants to cut off the conversation, who wants to validate their opinion, and that's what it is, it's an opinion, by shutting off your opinion, or invalidating it because it's not the same as yours, that is a toxic fan. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. High Lord and Mighty Emperor. I forgot to, I didn't get the memo that said that you spoke for all of fandom. Whether you liked it or didn't like it. I didn't get that memo that you spoke for everybody. Sorry. No. If you see somebody who wants to cut somebody off and says, this is the way it is, end of story, toxic fan. All right? Watch out for YouTube channels that you visit. Mike Zero is a major one on this. Anytime that there's a headline that says, Rise of Skywalker, garbage, dumpster fire. Anytime it's a negative headline, the reason it's written that way is to get clicks. They want to find like-minded people who will click on it, who will give them more views. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. People like Mike Zero and other toxic fans. Mike Zero's a toxic fan. Anytime that you click on it, that's exactly what they want. They got that headline that's a toxic headline that is designed to find like-minded people. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Confirmation by affirmation, right? Well, this guy affirms what I'm saying, so it confirms that I'm right. All right? There's a lot of toxic fans out there with voices. And I try really hard not to be one in any aspect of fandom. Whether it's a franchise that I love or a franchise I don't love. I try really hard not to be a toxic fan. Some people make their living off of being a toxic fan. Literally make their living off of it. Don't go there. Don't go there. Understand that there are people who are literally actively trying to divide the Star Wars community. Because it gets them clicks, and it gets them views, and it gets them ultimately money. All right? Don't fall into that trap. So, really what I'm saying here is, guys, as Star Wars fans, we can go see The Rise of Skywalker, and we can like it or not like it, and we shouldn't be afraid to express our thoughts on it. And our thoughts are okay. Our thoughts are okay. Whether you like it or didn't like it, it's okay. Just don't fall into the trap where you start talking poorly or making excuses why other people don't agree with you. You know? Stop making excuses why, oh, well, you just didn't like it because of this. No, they didn't like it because it didn't work for them. All right? You didn't like it because you just hate Disney. Or you didn't like it because you didn't like The Last Jedi. You've already made up your mind. No, it's okay if somebody didn't like it. Or stop saying, well, I hated it. The only reason you liked it is because you like Disney. Or only reason you like it is because you're not a real Star Wars fan. Guys, anytime somebody throws out real fan, that's a red flag that they're a toxic fan. Red flag goes up every time. It should go up and ooh, that's a toxic fan. That's a person that's dividing fandom. Anytime somebody says, you didn't like it, and that you're not a real fan because of that. You know, if you like this, you're not a real fan. Or if you didn't like this, you're not a real fan. That is toxic. That is horrible for fandom. That's horrible for the Star Wars community. Stop it. Just stop it. People can like and not like what they want. And they're still a real fan. They're still a real fan. All right? My favorite Star Wars movies is if I had to divide them into blocks. Prequel trilogy, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, spin-offs. 4 blocks. Original trilogy is my favorite. Original trilogy is my favorite by far. But if somebody says, well, the prequel trilogy is my favorite, I'm not going to be like, well, then you're not a real fan. What are you talking about? You're not a real... Everybody knows Empire's the best. If somebody comes up to me and says, LQ... it's not a popular opinion, but The Phantom Menace is my favorite Star Wars movie. I'm not going to be like, you're not a real fan. I'm going to be like, hey, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. You know, you're right. That's not a popular opinion, but I'm really glad that you like that movie. That is the appropriate response. Instead of, you're not a real fan. You like The Phantom Menace, or you like The Last Jedi? You must not be a real fan. That is not the appropriate response. The appropriate response is, I love that you like The Last Jedi. I love it. Even if you didn't like it, the appropriate response is, I love that you like The Last Jedi. Didn't work for me. but I love that you loved it. That is the appropriate response. That is how we kill this toxic fandom that we have happening in Star Wars. All right? There are a lot of people. Guys, newsflash. There's a lot of people that like The Last Jedi. There's a lot. Let me give you a little bit of insight here. You're going to have people say, well, the audience score for The Last Jedi was only 43%. Rotten Tomatoes audience score means less than nothing. Less than nothing. It's literally a tabulation that doesn't even confirm that you've seen the movie, and it doesn't confirm that you voted only once. All right? That's how review bombing happens. Last Jedi got review bombed. Captain Marvel got review bombed. It happens. These movies get review bombed. So people create all sorts of fake accounts and give them bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review, bad review. You know, you could have one person giving 100 bad reviews. That's called review bombing. It happens. It's verified that it happened with The Last Jedi, Captain Marvel, and other movies. So don't quote the Rotten Tomatoes audience score to me. I will laugh at you. Give me the cinema score. Cinema score verifies that you were there, verifies that you voted once. That is the accurate tabulation system for an audience score. And guess what? The cinema score for Last Jedi was good. So don't sit here and tell me that everybody hated The Last Jedi. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend The Last Jedi was not divisive. It was. Last Jedi was a divisive movie. But you do not speak for fandom if you didn't like it. You do not speak for fandom if you did like it. Same with Rise of Skywalker. If you like it, you don't speak for all of fandom. If you didn't like it, you don't speak. If you went to the theater with 25 friends, if you and 25 friends go to see Rise of Skywalker, and all 25 of you hate it, you still do not speak for fandom. You cannot get online or get on social media or wherever you want to go and say, well, the fans hate it. No. You hate it. Your group of friends hate it. That's it. You don't speak for everybody. That is what's creating a toxic culture, is thinking you speak for everybody when you don't. So, get that out of your head. Understand that other people are going to have different views with you, and that's okay. That is okay. So, to wrap this up, just let me say that this weekend, there's going to be a lot of people who like The Rise of Skywalker. There's going to be a lot of people that do not like The Rise of Skywalker. And there's going to be a lot of people that fall in between and have really mixed feelings about it. It's okay. And have that attitude. Have that attitude when talking with fellow people in your community, in the fandom community, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you use. Be okay with it. If you didn't like The Rise of Skywalker and somebody likes it, hey man, I love that you liked it. I love that. If you didn't like it and somebody loved it, that's okay. That's okay. It will be okay. So I'm asking my Star Wars fellow fans to embrace this weekend, embrace positivity over toxicity. Embrace positivity over toxicity. And I feel like everything will be okay if we can do that. So I will be watching Rise of Skywalker tonight. I will have my review up by morning. I'll try to get it up tonight, but it might not be till morning. So I look forward to having a dialogue about Rise of Skywalker. But in the meantime, this weekend, there's going to be a lot of people who have different opinions. That's evident based on the reviews. The critics are mixed on this. The critics are mixed on the Rise of Skywalker. So I have a feeling the fandom community will be as well, and that's okay. That's okay. As long as we can have a dialogue about it that's respectful and understand that I don't speak for fandom, neither do you. So, I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here. And please, 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 this weekend, embrace positivity over toxicity. Until next time, we'll see you later.